In the modest incense of Vatican ritual and the echoing gravity of the Sistine Chapel, history has just turned another page. The election of Pope Leo XIV, Robert Francis Prevost of Chicago, marks not only the first time an American has ascended to the throne of Peter, but also a continuation and perhaps a consolidation of a particular ecclesial trajectory, the full and finally unflinching implementation of Vatican II. It is a direction his namesake Francis, another American, but from South America, set in motion, but which Leo now seems determined to embed. And Leo's first gestures as pontiff, eschewing the red mozzetta now, wearing instead simply the plain white pellegrina of Francis, choosing a silver pectoral cross nearly identical to his predecessors, spoke louder than his words. And this is not an aesthetic of monarchy, but of mission, and gone are the trappings of triumphalism that were associated with Benedict. In their place, a theology of humility grounded in service. And his visual theology, like that of Francis, points us back to the ecclesiology of Lumen Gentium, the church not as a fortress, but as pilgrim pope. It's telling, too, that his first public words were not in English, the language of empire, but in Spanish and Italian, languages of migrants, of margins, and of mission territories, a deliberate affront to Trump, perhaps, but more profoundly a reminder that the Catholic Church is not the spiritual arm of the White House, but a communion that transcends borders and presidents alike. And today, Pope Leo has been talking to the College of Cardinals, the whole College of Cardinals, not just those who were able to be present at the election. So what then does he represent? Well, it seems continuity with an edge. His predecessor, Pope Francis, sought to restore the spirit of Vatican II, emphasizing collegiality, pastoral proximity, and the field hospital church. But Francis often led with much fiercer headwinds his outreach to LGBTQ plus Catholics, migrants, and divorced persons, his reorientation away from clerical power. These were seen by some, especially in the US church, as provocative. Leo XIV inherits both the momentum and the backlash. Yet rather than retreating, Leo seems poised to institutionalize what Francis began. His remarks on migration, his early signals to developing world bishops, his subtle yet strategic conciliation to traditionalists, such as moving into the apostolic palace, indicate not weakness but political acumen. As one cardinal put it, he doesn't pick sides, he picks the church. And his firm embrace of Vatican II, Leo, like Vatican II, is both aggiornamento and ressourcement, updating with one hand and returning to foundational truths with the other. Now, to the question crackling across the airways, will Pope Leo XIV stand up to Donald Trump? Well, Trump has already noticed him. His attempts to interfere with the conclave, from AI mock-ups to candidate endorsements, suggest he viewed the papacy not as sacred but as strategic. And from the moment of Leo's election, MAGA world responded with fury. Laura Loomer, ever unsubtle, called him a woke Marxist. Steve Bannon denounced the Curia as globalist for rejecting Trump's ecclesiastical equivalent. But Leo's opposition to Trump isn't merely personal, it's theological. Trump's gospel is a gospel of walls. Leo's is of bridges. Indeed, Pontifex Maximus means itself a bridge builder, a title inherited from the Roman emperors and repurposed by popes to suggest connection, not control. And Leo's migration stance is not mere policy, it's a reading of Matthew 25. I was a stranger and you welcomed me. This isn't Marxism, it's Christianity, it's most scandalously literal. And yet, Leo needs to walk a tightrope. The American church is fractured, with schismatic murmurs growing louder. Some traditionalists view Rome as fallen, others the Latin Mass as the last stand of orthodoxy. Pope Leo, both insider and outsider, may be uniquely placed to heal the divide. He's already prayed the Our Father and the Hail Mary in Latin. He has already met Cardinal Burke. He understands both canon law and parish kitchens. He speaks Spanish to Peruvians and theology to seminarians, and he cooks salmon for his friends. He's not naive. as his brother only too keenly points out just before taking a call from him. He says, there's a camera waiting here. There's a camera recording us as we're speaking, and you can hear the Pope say, at this moment. And then it cuts away. I don't think the Pope is terribly pleased at having all his conversations be recorded. He's not naive. He may be the first Pope in decades capable of reuniting the American Church without capitulating to its more authoritarian instincts. And Pope Leo will not shout. He may not tweet, but he will certainly speak in gestures of lasting consequence. A Pope shaped by Peru and by the brick walls of Chicago, wearing the cross of Francis, living in the palace of Benedict, walking in the shadow of Peter. It's quite an achievement in just a couple of days. In him, the Church sees not a rupture but a continuation, not a partisan but a pastor, and perhaps, just perhaps, not a man chosen to oppose Trump, but to outlast him.